Alrighty then. Well, welcome back. It's been so long since I've seen you. Tonight we've got Roll for Insight, our little talk show where we talk shop, talk all things D&D, especially our sessions. Any and everything is open and out on the table to be asked about. Obviously, on my end, I can only answer certain things to keep the mystery alive, but this allows me to not only check in with my players and my co-host, Pauly here, on what they may be thinking or doing, or why they chose certain decisions, but also how they're liking the campaign and how things are going, just in general. Questions from chats and questions already prepared sort of get shot out first, and then we just let the conversations go from there into whatever facet that they go into. Usually, this show is set to be like an hour and a half long. Plenty of times it goes way over that. But we're going to try and shoot for that. Yeah. We're going to try and shoot for that time frame tonight. But, Pauly, welcome. Thank you for being with us tonight.
I am barely here. I can't wait.
Hey, you know what? Barely there underwear is a popular thing, so you're already...
I am just wearing underwear under this.
We are on brand,
so
baby.
We are good. We are good.
Well, so like I said, this show, we talk about everything that's happened in the world and in our sessions, and last session, there was a lot to deal with. There were some...
What the hell, Val?
There were some pre-rolls made by the group. I will be frank and candid that though they existed, there wasn't going to be a direct interaction planned anytime soon. The Giants, at least. And because Nori wasn't able to make it last session, I had to put something in place for you guys to burn a lot of time on.
Okay.
And so I had everyone set up to do a certain amount of rolls to see how many of each creature came out to interact with you guys. And unfortunately, it was before stream.
And all of them.
It was before stream, and it was before you got out there. Or you jumped into the... Or you jumped in, then you jumped out, then jumped back in. But during that time where you were gone, they did their rolling, and I kept telling them, I'm like, roll a d20, and if it's under 10, the next person rolls. And everyone kept rolling under 10, so that meant more and more people were coming out. Because they were all different CRs. I was like, oh, guys, this is bad. This is not a good thing for you guys.
Wait, when did you do that?
So you joined the Zoom, and then you left the Zoom. And then everyone else joined. And then they rolled, and then you rejoined. Or at least you turned off your camera.
Oh, I had stuff to do, that's fine.
Yeah, so during that time was when they rolled.
Okay.
And then you came back, and I made you make the last roll.
I rolled like a 2 or something, I don't remember.
Yeah, everyone rolled. It was like 2, 4, 6, 8, 2.
It was a lot.
Yeah, that's why you had a lot to deal with. And I'm like, oh, this is bad, guys. This is bad.
Well, I mean, it wasn't our fault. It was yours.
Well, it was the rolls as well. And it's Nori's.
Sure.
We blame Nori. But...
For not being there, yes. Stupid finals.
Nevertheless, stupid teacher for switching her turn-in date for her.
That too.
But nevertheless, you did get to learn something very interesting about the Giants.
Yeah, that was weird.
That at least the king, and probably more, are followers of Brulison. And to clarify, Brulison is technically not a dwarven god. He is just a god of brewing, and that happens to be a dwarven pastime.
Oh, because the only reason I said that was because you gave me a list of dwarven gods a long time ago.
Yeah. But
Brulison was one of them.
He's sort of in the same vein as Mithradim, where it's not like only a dwarf knows these gods. It's just they are the primary follower
Okay.
So
Okay.
to the point of when you guys had that interaction in Brulison's um, place, it was all dwarves.
That kind of makes sense because every single time I've communed, I've never actually imagined the bartender being a dwarf.
Nope.
Ever. For some odd reason,
Yeah.
he's very, very like human sized, and I didn't. I
You know,
don't know.
it's
It just
been
kind of works out that way, but
because it's been subtle things that we've said, like um, when you walked up to the bar, you had to jump up onto the chair. So like it's like subtle.
yeah, that's me in every bar though, even my
I'm-
dad's bar.
Well, I
'cause
mean,
he
even the
caters to
dwarven bars,
Yeah.
they're a little bit higher because they're stools, but it's not like human bars or elvish bars, you know, which are taller.
Right.
So I always sort of flavored it because I too, he's not a dwarf, so he's of the 6 foot variety, at least in the communes.
Oh, okay.
So I've slightly hinted that he's not dwarven specifically, but that like any bar that you go to, you need to get up on the stool, or when you go into that one time it was a booth, it was a little bit of a higher booth. So
True. Well, like I think one of the main times I did it was in the like the island city,
yeah.
where Child did the death dive,
Hmm.
and I was in a dwarven bar when I did it.
Yeah.
So that's what confused me a little bit, even though you like the first list. But I still like after that it was just like I was kind of human looking. He's a god; he can take on whatever facade he wants to take on.
Yeah.
So yeah, sure.
And I mean,
It was kind of my big thing about that whole interaction. The whole interaction was like crazy stupid. But how did he know? I want to know how he knew that my coin was on the back of my shield. Because if I can figure out how he does that, then I can find other followers of Brulison and keep us a hell of a lot safer. If I can find followers in foreign cities and towns, it makes so much more, like,
yeah,
in his head, obviously, it's like a blanket. Like, hey,
it's
we're
an icebreaker.
friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, not even, I mean, that too, but also like, hey, we have someone to rely on, we have somewhere to stay, or we have information about where we are that we wouldn't have had before.
Yeah.
So that was kind of going through he was so confused. Like that whole battle was very frustrating for him and myself.
Well, 2 things on that. First, the visage of Brulison himself. Remember, it's that smoky wisp of a body and face, so you've never been able to like get a picture
details,
drawn
yeah.
of him. It's just that
Mhm.
that constant, and that's probably more of the mystique behind Brulison than anything else, since everything else is pretty much on the table, is that no one knows exactly what he looks like, and that probably lends to him surviving as long.
True.
But as far as the giant goes, I got asked by a couple different people, a couple different players, of was that planned or how, like, what was the case? And I brought it up to them, so I'll bring it up to you now, that when you became a follower of Brulison, especially going from Illinade to Brulison, the color and the way that some of your abilities work changed. Just like Amric's Nature's Wrath isn't actual straight vines, they're that sort of swampy bog vine. Your spell work took on a different hue, where Illinade's is more of a light blue and Brulison is more of like a golden white. So, it was when you popped your channel divinity that he noticed it.
Okay.
And since you were currently facing that other giant that was like right next to you, he could see the backside of your shield as you were holding it up. And so he couldn't see it specifically, but he was trying to put 2 and 2 together. And he was like, these guys aren't enough of a threat that I can't go in and take a look.
It's also like a weird talisman. Like, I got this from a commune.
Yeah.
I got a coin from a commune, which even Illinois never did that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I get it. Like, I don't feel it. Like, you've never said anything about like me feeling this talisman and stuff, and I'm just like, I get that he's putting two and two together and stuff, but I'm in the heat of battle trying to save my friends. I'm not worried about what god you're fucking, or I'm sorry, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
though
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
I know what
it's
you
like
mean.
sorry, that's all I can think of. It's like I don't understand. Like, I'm not worried about what god you're worshiping as long as it's not an evil god, but still, it's just like you guys ambushed us, and I'm trying to keep my friends alive, and I've got 37 hit points out of 107 all of a sudden after less than 2 rounds.
Yeah.
And all I'm thinking about, and Nori got pissed this morning about it.
I saw that.
But it's like, all I'm trying to do is like keep us safe, and I'd rather, yeah, it happened very quickly, and it was very, very abrupt, and he was very frustrated, and so was I, because literally couldn't think of our way out of this. We couldn't.
Yeah,
we didn't do anything wrong. We were being quiet. I didn't realize that. Of course, it would be Caperna that fucks everything up, but he didn't mean to do it.
Yeah.
Like, that was the other thing. Like, we weren't being malicious or anything. We were just trying to be quiet and come up with plans and stuff. And all of a sudden, we're fucked. And you told us yesterday that it's like, no, it's never going to be easy ever again. It's going to be very difficult. But it was so... Yeah. It was so over the top all of a sudden.
Those lizards coming out and getting the sneak attacks that they needed to, and unfortunately they were the first ones out, because I rolled like internal initiative between all the people coming out, and since they were the first ones, they were basically being sent as a find the nearest thing, especially if it smells like our openings, and attack it. So It was basically the guard dogs that got sent out first. And since you guys started walloping on the guard dogs right away before they got out, the giants, or at least the king, basically it just came up into battle. And so, like, the lizards understand giant, but they don't, like, speak giant. So it's not like they could be like, we attacked and then they started attacking us. It's like, they're just like guard dogs, you know, we did our job. And now they're
literally swallowed us.
Yeah.
So we had to fight. We didn't really have a choice.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's just because of a conflux of different things happening all at once. It just became chaos until the police chief could step forward and be like, everyone calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
There's been a misunderstanding. We're not going to hurt you anymore for killing one of our lizards. We understand that, you know, shit went down sideways. Here's our peace offering.
The problem is that only one of us speaks giant, and he was in a lizard's stomach at the time.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't plan for the situation either.
Why don't these people learn common?
Come on. They live in a giant thing underground. Why do they need to learn common?
So I lived in a dwarven community, and I still know common.
Yeah, but that's because the dwarves deal with other people.
Well, they have like 2 towns on this island. I don't understand.
And neither of the towns know these giants exist.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Or else they would have told
everybody's like, when do we get to go back and feast with the giants? I'm like, hey, how about we save Nori first?
Everyone just wants that long rest.
Yes, we do. Trust me, I want it too, but yeah, I was like, how are we going to save Nori when I'm wasting all of my spells and time on these giants and lizards?
Yeah.
But anyway.
Unfortunately, that's how this island goes. It is a place full of large people and beasts. And
yeah, I've noticed a little non-stop.
Yeah, I mean, the safest places are in the towns. And I prefaced it. I said the towns have hundreds of guards, but they are only stationed at the entrances of the town. Like, there are guards give no fucks about policing inside. They are only there to protect the town from getting attacked. And when each entrance has like 40 guards, that should be a big, like, there in the Phantasmal Hydra, like, there is shit in these forests.
Yeah, we haven't run into one of those yet. Thank goodness. Please don't. Please don't.
But yeah, so
did anybody say anything about like a town or a city or anything to the south?
there is all the way at the south end of the island.
Okay.
So like all the way down, which is even fart cloud form still like a day's travel away.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm not really in the mood to do right now. I'm so tired of being a cloud.
The other closest town besides the one that you guys came from is the one on the eastern side of the island, which is about the same distance as the town that you guys came from is.
Yeah, what you had mentioned in chat.
Yeah.
Which kind of want to go, but it's a little too late for that now.
The only person who really knows about it is Nori.
That too.
So, yeah.
You mean the Nori that's trapped underground that can't talk to us, that didn't tell us she was going to like go exploring because she's curious all of a sudden?
Yep.
That Nori?
Yeah, that Nori. We love that Nori.
Maybe we should just call her. Nope, I can't think of it. I can't think of a. Nope. The Nori of the Kaporan of Nori. Either way, she pulled the Kaporan, and I don't like it.
I think the need to fill the Racha void is what's really testing people in what they would choose.
I don't understand why.
And also the whole fact that all happened at like 2 a.m. for her. So
True.
Decision making at that point in time is understandably vexed.
Yeah, honestly, Pauly is like, why is everybody trying to fill Racha's shoes? I get it. He was smart. He was clever. But he also like did the stupidest shit.
Yeah. I think the reason is because Racha was the one who would always be like, fine, I'll touch it. He also got a lot of boons for it too, and found out things that he later ended up being crucial to the group. So I feel like it's more of a trying to leave no stone unturned.
Oh, I get it. Racha got shit done. He also was like possessed by a demon. He also has a piece of Trenchmer in him that he didn't even know he had until lately. And now he's also evil. So good for him.
No one knows the evil thing just yet.
And you can't say this is the first time you've ever fucked up, Nori. Ever.
Well, pointedly choose to fuck up.
Pointedly choose, okay. Yeah, I'll give you that. It was not a good idea.
So, question from Bryn to you, Pauly. Why was your reaction to the mirror revelation so muted? She expected more of a reaction from you when Bryn told it.
Yeah, that again. Honestly, at that point in time, like we had just gone through almost falling from the sky thousands of feet and getting squished to Racha blowing up into some crazy fucking whatever and dying and living again. So that's 2 undead, by the way. If nobody noticed. To letting things loose that we shouldn't have, to me spending 2 whole days bringing people back to life and spending all my spells healing them and sleeping in a pleasure palace kind of thing. He was exhausted. He literally had no fucks to give at that point. All he wanted was to curl up and be left alone. And he still doesn't have the time. He still hasn't processed half the stuff that was happening. But also, as far as like, he pointedly said pre-Ice Queen.
Pre-Temple. Pre-Temple.
Pre-Temple Ice Queen.
Yeah.
When she was a normal Valkyrie.
Mm.
After she was a Trentimir Ice Queen. That's why he's not so concerned. That's all he knows. Like, he knows that she was an ice queen. She had this giant piece of Trentamere. And she was super powerful. But before that, she had no power. Like, that's why the only reason you go to this fucking temple to get reborn is to get power back that you used to have and you don't anymore in his head. So if she had power, she wouldn't have needed to go. She had Trentamere before that in his mind. She wouldn't have needed to go. So she was a normal person. So if she's pre-temple, she's a pretty normal person. He's not that worried about her. Like, yeah, she's powerful. He's seen powerful Valkyrie. God, one of them one-shotted him. But she's not carrying around a basketball-sized fucking piece of Trentamere either.
Yeah, which is probably a little bit even bigger now, thanks to Vinny and then her getting out and being able to go scoop some more up.
And now she's dead. And he's more worried about what happened to that giant piece of Trentamere.
That one of the reasons why you
scared about it.
Worried about going to see your mom?
Probably, yeah. Cousin, mom, yeah. She's scary as fuck. I don't want to get near her. I really don't want to go home.
Well,
I want to go home so bad, and I really don't want to go home.
Do you think if you do go home, you're gonna find her with a Trentamere chest plate?
I don't know. He hasn't asked. I mean, all conversations lead to everything's okay. Liver didn't say anything special. But then again, she can't have a full conversation with him because it's 25 words.
Yeah.
Or less. Otis didn't say anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And you would think that if somebody had a giant purple breastplate that glows and is creepy with tentacles and shit, somebody would say something, and nobody has. Also, he's a little, like, I don't know, there's a lot of things going on with his family that and I could go on for hours, honestly.
Yeah, it's understandable.
But that's why he didn't react as badly as you expected him to, because she's a normal person right now. Like, yeah, she's talking to you, that's weird. Through a mirror, that's weird too. But it's not the weirdest thing we've encountered ever.
Yeah.
And if all it's doing is talking to you and giving you advice, maybe listen to it for once.
And to be fair, if it was anyone else but the Ice Queen, it would be like, okay, now Bryn has a sentient item.
If it was anybody but Bryn, I would be seriously worried. Honestly. Pauly's known Bryn for over a year now.
Mm-hmm.
And she is the most level-headed person in that group. She's not paranoid. She's not crazy. She doesn't want to kill her friends. Amric.
At least in this timeline, she's not paranoid and crazy.
Right. Not yet.
Deathwalker when we were getting there.
That was understandable, though.
True, but still.
But yeah, so there was she is to him the most level-headed person in this group, and he's not worried unless she asks for help. And the second she asks for help, then he will start worrying. But yeah, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, I'm a little concerned as to where that axe went, and I kind of really want it because Bryn would look really good with that axe. But it's gone. It's in the ocean somewhere.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed. I mean, if you can talk to your mirror and find out how to find it quickly, I'm all for it.
Yeah, Bryn says she wants it.
You better.
Okay, Bryn. I made her roll a history check during this whole thing. She rolled halfway decent. So, Bryn, tidbit of information for you. Even though I'm telling you, Pauly doesn't know this. Because Bryn's only starting to put things together with this whole mirror situation. Bryn, when you now that you know, Sigrun was the name of the Ice Queen before she was the Ice Queen, and when she went to the temple. You're playing back through your mind if you saw the name Sigrun anywhere on the wall.
Oh.
And you do not. So, that's an extra little something something.
That's disturbing.
Yeah. So, that's a nice little new little tidbit of information for you to sit on for a week, Bryn.
But things that happen in this temple, the temple stay in the temple, so she could have had a name before that we didn't know. Just put it out.
No, Bryn would know that her name was Sigrun from her visions that she had back in the
Well,
day.
there was that whole conversation about how Sigrun was her best friend growing up and stuff.
Mhm.
But she also realized that it wasn't the same Sigrun that she was like talking to. Like there was some weird debate whether it was the same person or not.
The person that had lost their arm that was in the town,
Right.
is but isn't Sigrun. Like, Bryn, looking back on it, realizes that something was off. That only someone who was really close with the person would have noticed.
Okay.
Almost in the same vein that some of these avatars that have been created by Illinade and other individuals would seem to someone if you were dealing with Illinade specifically, and then all of a sudden you found one of his avatars and you had to put them side by side, you would realize that there's a vast difference between the two.
Oh, very sure. Yeah. Also, the temple puts down your true name,
Mhm.
and not the name you go by.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even know I had a middle name until I got there. So, I mean, either way, but like I get that too. Like she goes by a certain name because that's the name she chose to go by. But is that her real name? Maybe, maybe not. Don't know.
To clarify for Bryn, yes, there were names scratched out. Majority you could still read, and most of them were larger and longer than just Sigrun.
We can always go back.
Try and get anyone on board for that.
I didn't say go in the temple, just go back and like look, and it was right there in the entry hall.
First room is secretly part of the temple.
Fuck.
The only name that was undistinguishable was one that looked like it had a fist put through it. But that was the only name that
Maybe.
couldn't have been figured out. But nevertheless, there's just a little bit of extra special juicy roll for insight knowledge that you get.
Hooray.
Hooray!
Love these.
Meta asks, Pauly seems to be much more comfortable with his god. Is he any further along in the path of getting over his ex?
Like I said before, he's so overwhelmed right now. Just like everybody else in the group. Like we're on this quest, and there's so many things that happen, like back to back to back to back, day after day after day. And I know that Comparin and it just all went away. Bryn and Amric have had time to wander around like the town and, you know, talk and stuff like that. And he's just been so non-stop, like, wake up, go heal people, go do this, get things ready, do other things, fall asleep, talk to like, he actually is enjoying his talks with Amric, by the way. He's so glad that Amric's finally talking. But he's been so overwhelmed with so many things that he doesn't register half the stuff that's happening around him right now. He's just like day to day, minute to minute, get there, get it done, and then we'll have time to talk about this later. But right now, not so much. Brulicin has been extremely helpful in Pauly's eyes. Mysterious as fuck. Love that. not really. He preferred the conversations he had with Illuminate. But he's been so helpful. And I think half of it is he's finally figuring out the right questions to ask. Because having conversations with Illuminate is having a conversation, which makes it really easy to ask and get answers.
Mm-hmm.
But having to think of the questions before you ask them to get the right answers that you want are very difficult. And with Brulison, he's actually, I don't think he's made it easier to figure out the right questions to ask. And the fact that he's sitting in a bar, relaxed and not worried about like offending anybody. He's just like relaxed in a bar and ordering a drink and shit, and like, hey bartender, blah 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 blah. You're like asking how the day is and stuff like that. It's just like part of the banter before the actual questions. And he's very much, he still misses Illuminate very much. As big as a dick as he was in the beginning.
So choice right now.
Huh?
Choice right now, Illuminate or Brulison. If you were able to pick which deity.
I mean, is it going to get back to the other one or not?
No.
I don't want to offend anybody.
No offense or detriment equated with it.
There's a couple of things that he loves about it and hates about it, but sense of duty wise, he would absolutely go right back to Illuminate if he could. Right back. He's definitely digging the brewing and the cooking shit. He's full on dove in and taking control of that shit, and he loves it. But if he could get rid of all of that and go right back to Illuminate, he would. Absolutely.
Gotcha.
Illuminate needs all the help he can get. Pauly's a helpful kind of guy. You know, and it's kind of nice to be friends with your god.
Yeah.
Not just one other person that you take care of, but someone that takes care of you too. Like, he actually thought of Illuminate as his friend and like, I am keeping your secret. I'm doing this for you, with you, and helping him out when he needed to.
Yeah.
Or when he needed help, that it just made him feel a little more involved.
It's almost like when a friend decides to run for office, and they ask you to help them, like basically be the campaign manager, and you're just like, fuck yeah, rather than any other politician that you're dealing with because you don't know them.
But Illuminate's easy because you don't actually have to campaign because it's supposed to be on the DL, so you're not supposed to say anything. Yeah. So you're just there to support and run missions, and I love that about that.
Yeah,
I don't have to like tout it to anybody. But he doesn't do that with Brulison either. He's just like, you know what? He's got his own cult. I'm just here to like take advantage of this / get all the stuff I can / like tout him in what I'm doing. Like, I can make the best brew, I can make the best distilled, I can make the best food and stuff, and this is me praising you.
Yeah.
And that's easy for him.
Represent where you
for
shine.
Sure. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Let me look it up. Where was it? It was, there it is. So Bryn asks, what was going on in your brain when Nora decided to go looking around alone? Did you expect one of us to do that and end up in there all by ourselves, like alone? Did you expect her to do that?
I mean, once she started saying that I'm gonna grid to look for it, I'm like, oh, you're gonna fall in. Like, unless you nat 20 this perception check, it's made not to be seen, so you're gonna fall in. And unfortunately, her roll to set up her grid was terrible, and so she ended up just making that clusterfuck of a grid. And because it was taking so long in my head, it justified, okay, well, by the end of this, she's going to be rushing it. You know, she's not going to be as detail oriented as the start of it would be. So it's more than fair to say that she would start to slide up this little bit of embankment and fall right into it.
Yeah.
And I
The thing is, like,
checked the average weight of snakes, and I was like, ooh, that's just enough to break through the little false area.
that's right. She wasn't a cloud. She was just a snake.
Yeah.
Because I was like, how did she fall in as a fart cloud?
Yeah, she was that snake
But then
form.
she was just wild shaped.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as long as it was over a pound, it would be enough to break through the basically paper mache facade of it. And she slithered right up it, and once it was enough weight, it just collapsed under her. And she went wee 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 all the way home. So
if
no.
she had turned into a cloud halfway down, would she have been able to fly back up?
If she started thinking about it right away, she would have been able to have turned into a cloud, but she had no way of knowing that it was going to be
True.
over a minute and a half of falling.
Yeah, a minute and a half of falling is
Deep.
It doesn't sound very long, but that's a long fall.
Yep, that's 90 seconds, so that's what, 10, 15 rounds of falling at 60 per round.
That's crazy.
That's 900
super
feet.
deep.
900 feet plus the extra 100 feet of free fall that she had till she hit the bottom, so she's 1,000 feet down. Yeah, we did the math earlier because Amric's like, luckily I got locate creature and object. And I'm like, doesn't that only go to like 1,000 feet? So you need to literally be directly above her to have that go off.
Also, would it work?
Possibly.
Because of the...
Probably not if the sending didn't go through.
Right, that's what I was thinking. That screwed me over too. I was like, fuck. We gotta go now. And it's still taking us, what, like half an hour, 45 minutes?
Yeah. It took you guys... Well, I mean...
She could be dead by now.
By the end of the giant interaction, you guys synced up with her time.
Okay.
So, you guys synced up to her time at the end of the giant interaction. That's before you drink all the liquid in the tonic. So I would say you guys traveled and prepped and did everything for about 5 minutes. So currently,
So
your
Friday,
guys...
she's gonna have a big fat session without us.
No, I'm going to have a session with her outside of our regular session and see what happens. So me and her get to have a little mini session at some point.
You should record that and stream it.
She says also locate creature doesn't work with Nori's item. Oh yeah, because she's wearing the don't find me necklace.
Shit. She put that back on, I forgot.
Yep. I believe she put it back on once she found out Zelik was still alive. She was like, nope, putting that back on.
Well, yeah, so we could never find Nori.
Nope.
And I can't call her. Which begs the question, how can I call her before if she's got that thing on? Because sending is the type of scrying. That's why we can't get a hold of Valek.
I think it's because she allowed it.
Okay.
That's how I'm going to play it. She made the straight connection with you and she allowed it to happen, so.
Okay. I mean, why wouldn't she? I'm a nice guy.
As you sit there and smack your skulls around.
Hey.
That
They
might
are
be...
a moral reminder of the bad things that I have done and not to do them again.
The meta said that sending isn't divination.
Still. Either way.
Either way. Going to make it... It works. You guys...
Yes, that is why Pauly has skulls on his belt, to remind him not to do bad things like that again.
He might need more skulls to help remind him.
Oh, he wouldn't mind, honestly.
Think of a little...
He doesn't want to make the mistakes in the first place, but they're kind of attractive, you know, having a couple skulls clanking around. No wonder he's not very good at stealth.
It's not the armor, it's the clanking skulls.
It is.
We gotta get you skull silencers. little rubber bits to put on the skulls to make him quiet.
I mean, one of them is wrapped in a leather pouch.
Yeah, but it's like, I would say skin tight, but it's bone tight.
Yeah.
Leather pouch, so
It's super creepy, yeah. It's
doesn't-
creepier than just the regular skulls things comparing.
yeah. But we will talk about the very end of the last session, as Amric looked over the top of the nest, luckily finding the correct nest, but also rolling shit on stealth enough to have woken the inhabitants of said nest, and you now are staring.
Yeah, he rolled a 2.
He's now staring down the face of 2 adult and 1 juvenile rocks.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I'm gonna go ahead and say someone's got to roll really fucking good perception next next session.
Yeah, because you said Pauly's the only one small enough to hide underneath all these nests.
Mm-hmm. And now that you guys have been found out, you def know that there's going to be a screech coming next, and everything around is going to be waking up.
For sure. Well, it's only 10 paces north. Supposedly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. With the heat of everything going on, to find this hole that only a snake made.
Yeah.
10 paces roughly north without, and these birds can move almost as fast as you guys. It's like I said, it's definitely gonna have to be some high ass perception check.
Yeah,
Even-
Pauly's thought about it actually. He's like, maybe I should just like let them find it and fly up and have these birds chase me for a while. Because we've got Windwalk for another, what, like 5 hours?
Yeah.
But then he's like, but if I leave, everyone would die.
Probably.
Because we've all almost died already. And we haven't even got there yet.
And the only person that can get them out quickly that isn't you is Amric's teleportation tablet.
Yeah, that too.
And he has
But
no
I wouldn't
idea
even
where
know
it goes.
he went.
So, the problem with the rock thing is if you go slow enough to keep your bearing on where you're leaving, the rocks can catch up to you. So
Right, no, he wouldn't even think of that. He would
just
which is funny because he was like, I was lamenting the fact that I don't have thaumaturgy. Especially in that last battle with the giants and stuff. It's like, oh man, we could have made so much noise and had them come over and like fuck over these giants and stuff. They would have fucked us over too, but at least we wouldn't been the only ones dead. But nobody has thaumaturgy to make a loud booming noise or anything like that.
well.
And now he's just like, well, crap. But I can't do that anyway because I'm a cloud. Can't do jack shit.
Yeah.
I can't even make noise. I'm a freaking cloud.
Well, the best way you can make noise is moving at the fastest speed you have.
Right. Like sonic boom.
Mm-hmm. But in the battle with the giants, the king even destroyed a tree and let it fall.
Yeah.
So
He was not intimidated at all.
no.
I'm a little sad for... Was it Amric that was trying to intimidate him?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little sad because I was hoping it would work. I really was.
It worked on the
That
giant
would've
that
been
could hear
for
him.
him. Huh?
It worked on the giant that could hear him. The problem was the rest of the giants really couldn't. And the king wasn't
Oh.
intimidated. So the one right next to you guys was gonna stop and look at the king and be like, But the king walked over and was just like, nah, son.
Screw you, you're dumb.
And the fact that even after Amric said it, people kept attacking.
Yeah, because we didn't know what Amric was saying.
Exactly. But basically, it was just like a better listen to me or else, and then stab, punch, boom, ah. Don't mind that. I'm the problem. And it's like, obviously your team's not on your level, so we aren't. That's how the king prefaced it. He was like, this is a very disjointed team that isn't working cohesively, so I'm going to call his bluff.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate, but luckily a positive outcome came from it anyway. Once you guys finally do get a long rest, I can allocate at least the experience for that one lizard's death.
Sure, yeah. One lizard, whatever.
I mean, it's still something.
I know. But I have whole level 15 to 16 to go. It's really not going to be that much. Then I only get half experience now because Amber only gets half healing.
True, but you get double the experience for other people. And you healed yourself for 50, so that's 100 points, or 100 portions of the experience.
Yeah, well, if I hadn't, I would have died the next attack. As these things were... I hate your dice, by the way. I hate your dice. Yes, we're recruiting now. Yeah, you rolled like 18s, 19s, and 20s constantly.
I also rolled low stuff, but once the giants were able to start giving each other advantage, that's when it seemed like it was all going bad.
Yeah, I also was... Leave it to Capara to screw things up. I was like, I'm bamfing us out of here. I'm getting us out. I'm gonna push it. I'm a small creature. I'm medium, aren't I?
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit! I was gonna push people out of the way to get within 5 feet of everyone and just bamf us out. I'm like, we can come back when we need to, but Nori will understand because Bryn will be alive.
At least that's what we hope.
Yeah. But, yeah. And now I'm like, well, I'm glad we didn't do it, but I'm kind of sad we didn't do it. Because I hate this place.
And just FYI, Nori, I actually did roll a fair amount of ones. They just had advantage, so... It was like a 1 and an 18. 1 and a 17.
And even if we did buy them, he wouldn't use them.
No. And... It just, giants have such stupid pluses to their attacks. Plus 12 and plus 14.
I mean, we do too. I have a plus 11 to my attack.
I know. It's just, when it comes to, especially you guys having decently high AC now, a lot of things don't hit you normally. So when you're fighting some creature that has a good plus to their attacks, and they're hitting almost every attack, like you guys hit almost every attack, it feels like you're overwhelmed because they're actually always hitting.
I don't hit every attack because D&D Beyond hates me.
You guys have just under the necessary need
It's so stupid.
Of your twos being able to hit their armor class.
I was so proud of myself for finally getting off that stupid Shield of Faith.
Yep.
When you hit me with a fucking 24 and I rolled a 10.
No, I think you even rolled under a 10.
No, I rolled plus Constitution total of 10.
Okay, because the roll
was 10.
The roll came up was 4.
What?
Yeah, I'm pretty positive. I can look at it right now. I got it open over here. Yeah, because I said you got hit, finished the damage. Yeah, con save 4. 2 plus 2.
I mean, either way, I was super pissed off. And sadly, it was very obvious on screen. I was super pissed. I was like, well, I just, wasted. I'm like, you missed me once.
Hey, that could have been all your health.
It almost was, actually. So.
I mean, just be grateful that they didn't want to make too much noise so they weren't just hurling rocks at you guys instead.
Either way.
Because those could have hit 2... Since you guys were all grouped up, they could have hit 2 people at once.
True. I guess so.
And luckily, really, the king didn't do any attacking.
By the way, so we're going to be exhausted tomorrow, right?
Yes.
But is that like within 24 hours, or
so basically you can get your long rest?
We've already stayed up all day and we're staying up all night.
No, you can get your long rest in. Your body just doesn't have the sustenance to work correctly. So whenever you get your next long rest, you'll get all your spells on and all your healing done, but it sort of burns your internal energy to do so, and so you wake up exhausted.
Okay.
So that's the exhaustion's only going to hit when you go to sleep.
Okay. Yeah, like I was thinking about it actually, and I was like, wow, maybe I should cook. Maybe I should take the cooking feat.
Doesn't that heal a little bit whenever someone eats your prepared meals or something?
It does, but it doesn't scale. That's the thing. Like, it's a great feat for beginners, but it's only like 1d6 extra hit points, and
Talking about
that's
the chef
it.
feat?
Yeah, it's kind of like, really, you start out really good and you can't get any better. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well,
like, I would actually like to talk to you to see.
The scaling is it goes with your how much food you can prepare in a short rest time for people. So it says you can prepare enough of this food to a number of creatures equal to 4 plus your proficiency bonus. So basically, as your proficiency bonus goes up, you can prepare it for more and more people.
Right. But why do I need to cook for 9 people?
Um,
That's the other thing. It's like, I would rather like talk to you about custom feat. Because, I mean, come on. He all of a sudden got proficiency in cooking, and now he's non-stop cooking for everybody. We don't buy prepared meals anymore.
well, the latter half of the chef, in 1 hour of work, when you finish a long rest, you can cook a number of treats equal to your proficiency bonus. And these special treats last 8 hours, and they give you temporary hit points equal to your proficiency bonus.
Oh, so it does go up with the proficiency bonus.
Yeah.
It's only 5, though, and it's not going to go up anymore for a while.
So it does scale a little bit, but it's not trying to overscale, because then it would be a little bit broken for lower level feat taking.
No, I mean, with your proficiency bonus, not really, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. I don't know, it's just one of those things like, but Sentinel.
Yeah, Sentinel is crazy.
Yeah.
But Sentinel
like
is
Warcaster,
also,
come on.
Yeah, but Sentinel is Chef is something that can be taken. The reason why it's dumbed down a little bit is because it can be taken by anybody, whereas Sentinel or Warcaster is only by spell users. Sentinel is really only by people who are martial adept. So that takes out 3 to 4 classes right there. So that's why the ones that are geared more towards specific classes have better powers to it, whereas the ones that are just blanket good are usually a little bit more dumbed down. I would probably say that if I was to redo some stuff, I would make Observant not choosable.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, Nori is pretty fucking overpowered when it comes to that.
True, but the way that I originally had passive perception working, I had to throw out the window once Nori took Observant. Because then her passive perception is like almost a 30. So it's like, well, that goes out the window. I've got to rewrite this entire way of doing things. And so I've had to do that. But to make it easier on myself and to make it even for everybody, I would probably just not let Observant be taken.
Yeah. I
mean, also don't let Lucky be taken.
15 passive, which is actually pretty good for most people.
Yeah, no, passives between 10 and 20, that's more in line with how things go.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you're a little bit more of a perceptive person. Like, hell, some of my NPCs that are like Valak and such, I think, I won't say what Valix is specifically, but let me take this person. Okay. Level 19, passive perception 11. So, I mean,
well, what kind of character is it?
What's
their class?
This one is a barbarian.
Okay.
But it's also it's also
really
level 19.
Based.
Right, but it's what I'm trying to say is that, like, I don't think wisdom should be perception, honestly. It seems like a very weird connection. Like, my eyes are so good because I'm smart, or because I'm street smart. I'm like, how the fuck
Right.
does that connect?
I think it's more paranoia.
Well,
But
yeah,
anyway.
but if we were, I understand why Nori has a high passive perception.
Yeah, she's paranoid.
As far as canon goes, but paranoia leads in the same vein as insanity does. Like, if you're paranoid and your passive perception, like, if you're gonna be that perceptive, you're seeing shit that's not there because you're paranoid. But I haven't leaned into that. I'm just saying.
That'd be really funny, actually.
It's all good, Nori. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying. She's blasting me now.
Oh no. No.
No, I'm just saying that in the future, there's already a few feats that, to start this campaign, I was like, no, I'm not going to allow those feats. And now playing with Observant a little bit more, I'd be like, yeah, Observant's also one that... I mean, one of the reasons that tipped it in my favor for Nori was because of her paranoia, and like, okay, canonly, we can make it work, and I don't want to say no to everything. But Observant was always one I was like, that seems a little broken as far as a feat that anyone can take. Like, if it was just done by... I think that being restricted to the rogue class would be good. That being restricted to a ranger class would be good, because they're hunters.
Orem has it in Critical Role's Campaign 3, and he's always rolling with advantage for perception because of an item that he has, and it's just...
And he's got...
always see everything.
Yeah, that's Liam for you. He's a bit of a min-maxer out of the group.
Sometimes, yeah. I like the fact, though, that he plays a dexterity fighter instead of a strength fighter.
Oh yeah, no, he definitely knows he's a min-maxer, so he's gonna offset some things, but he's definitely the min-maxer of the group. Hence why he usually has to make Sam's character for him.
But speaking of NPCs,
yeah.
Bryn asked, who has been your favorite NPC to play minus the big boys like Ilinade, Valek, the ones that we talk to the most? Like,
yeah.
As in, like, the background stuff. Who has been your favorite?
Yeah, I know what you mean, like secondary or third, because secondary characters would technically be like Ilinade, Valek, since you guys are the primaries. And
yeah.
I would say recently, Devin.
Which one? Just kidding.
The one you guys remember? Just because of the interaction.
I remember both of them. Thank you very much.
Well, you do, but no one else does. Right. Devon, I should say. Devin.
He has been fucking... That poor kid.
Yeah. So,
that poor kid.
Recently, he's been the most fun, but to be honest, you guys haven't really interacted too much with outside people. Like, I tried making the Minotaur person interesting enough to be like, someone's gonna talk to them and be like, why do you run this establishment? How did it come about? Any of this stuff. And then you guys could eventually find out it was a changeling and be like, oh my god. Like, that's all, and like, you know, and push down
self-centered for that.
But I guess I didn't make them interesting enough. I thought for sure Kaporin would have been all over it, but you were the one that got closest to flirting with him. And I was just like, well, I mean, that person's not gonna... They can turn into a dwarf. That's not a problem for them. Like, but I was like, I'm sure I'm either gonna get drunk Bryn to be like, hey girl, how you doing, to the girl Minotaur, or Kaporin to the guy Minotaur. But nope, everyone was just fucking all up in their own worlds.
That's because they weren't a werewolf. Maybe try that next time.
Well, then what? The I was gonna say the naughty bitch. The naughty dog. So if you guys go to another place and find a place called the Naughty Dog run by werewolves, it's a chain.
Yeah, it's all you, Kaporin. I'm not going near that place.
But as far as like overall the entire campaign goes, I would say my favorite is actually Fiona.
She's pretty great.
She started off as sort of a one-off character to because I had it at the time. This was back when Barrick was around, and the original crew of Campaign 1.
Wow.
That she was around. I hadn't really built any strong female tertiary character. So, like Yelena wasn't a part of the equation yet.
Okay.
She'd been seen like once, but she hadn't been interacted with yet. None of them had like strong moms that I could really deal with. The best we had was Barrick's wife, played by our very own Becca.
Woohoo!
But beyond that, no strong female characters were in it besides the ones that were playing. So Fiona sort of came about as a way to allow the girls of the group to latch onto something. And as soon as she was brought out, and not only was she like just this hulking mass of a human woman, with this sort of Scottish Gaelic accent, who just cared about anyone who had kids, and one of the players had a daughter. She just fell right into it, and I really loved Fiona and how she was able to sort of be that gateway to, honestly, as a DM, me being comfortable creating more female characters comfortably to put into the world. So, like, if I hadn't created Fiona and gone through creating all the backstory, because once I made her, I was like, oh, I love Fiona. Okay, we're going to make Fiona happen. If there wasn't a Fiona, there wouldn't be as much probably interaction with Laverne. There probably wouldn't have been as much Annabelle, Nori's moms, Bryn's moms. Like, there wouldn't be as much depth to them as I have given them if I didn't do Fiona when I did her. So, she's my favorite non-main storyline NPC.
Nice. Yeah, she pops up a lot.
Well, yeah, I like her so. I mean, I ended up getting her a chain of clothing shops.
I'm not mad about it. I know I ruined one of her chain.
You didn't ruin it. You just ruined some of her pre-stock that she was going to put out.
Well, I mean,
it's all right.
Everybody's got to have a runway day.
You just destroyed the stuff in the back. At least you left the shop front untouched.
Oh, I thought that I had broken the window.
You broke the back window.
Oh, it all happened in the back?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You got into the supply room.
Literally thought that I was laying in the front window wearing nothing.
No. She came to work. You were in the back supply room, just on a pile of these clothes, and just passed out.
How did I get back there anyway?
Huh?
How did I get back there anyway?
They have a window back there, and that's what you broke through.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it used to be two shops, with their backs sharing a wall, and she bought out the shop on the other side and made that shop the storeroom. And you broke through there, had your fun, passed out on a pile of clothes, and she goes in through the back, and so she opened up the door too. Naked Pauly amongst all the furs.
Well, speaking of Fiona and furs and stuff, what was her reaction when she found out that I was Annabelle's son?
Honestly, she knew right away who you were.
Oh, when she found me?
Yeah, because she and Annabelle had already been friends for a long time.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. It's definitely much more in the younger years of Annabelle, rather than... Because Fiona's older. She's not fully human. So she...
Well, yeah, she's hulking.
She lives a bit longer. So probably when you were like a kid, you may have seen her once or twice. And it would have been like college friends meeting up to have a drink type of situation for her and Annabelle.
Okay.
And then just, she started her business over in District 3. and things had to go on, so there was less interaction as you guys grew up. But if you probably asked, you'd find out she's probably changed some diapers. Yeah, she was there during the early parts.
Not gonna ask.
She was there through the takeover.
Yeah, that kind of makes me scratch my head. Like, why don't I know her better then?
It's just because after the takeover, you were born, and so her Annabelle having a family, priorities shift a little bit, and she got this opportunity to go to District 3, and so just people moving apart physically and emotionally, but still caught up and hung out. So yeah, it was just, that's how it was. But she knew exactly who you were, and someone, if anything, now that you know that, you should be surprised that your mom didn't find out about it until at dinner.
Yeah, I just can't see Annabelle, or not Annabelle, but Fiona, like, paddling on somebody else's kid when she's already taking care of the problem.
Yeah, so it's more just a funny thing that she's like, you know what, next time I see Annabelle, I'll tell her.
Yeah.
This isn't like a put it in a message and send it type of thing to talk about. You didn't do any damage. I mean, yeah, you wore everything, but you didn't do any damage besides a broken window. So, I mean, that's nothing for her to deal with.
That's good.
Yeah, it's not like you stole the family pearls as you were running out.
I mean, the rest of the group did a lot more damage.
Yeah, and a lot
in different ways.
More damage got done to them.
Yeah, poor Libra.
I'm more focused on. I mean, you guys didn't have time to really deal with it, but Vinny.
Oh yeah,
turning into a kitty vampire.
Yeah, nobody ever knew.
Yep, I was starting to work it in. He killed 2 people, and drained them. Yeah, during that time we mini sessioned him. Whenever he would go up and have a fun night, he wasn't doing naughty stuff. He was killing people and drinking their blood and making it look like either suicide or a different type of attack.
Oh, yep. Was he one of the people that we were looking for and not knowing it? Like, did we hear about any of those, or just...
No, because he would always do it on the night that you guys were about to leave.
Okay.
So you guys would basically do. He would do the hit, and then you guys would all disappear the next day.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow, that's a lot.
And if you think about it, from that whole interaction where he turned to the point of getting to the ice sheet, he never had any direct interaction with Valak or Illinade. So they couldn't have seen past everything and noticed something going on.
I mean, I didn't have any direct interaction with Illinade either.
Yeah, but you guys were like in and out of like being face to face with them.
Right.
And
Valak, like we like Ari and Jenko and Yelena, but not really Valak except through my mom. I don't know, either way. There wasn't like a whole lot of he's my dad, we can talk to him now kind of thing like there is now.
True. But he was interacting and being seen at least. I'm just saying those were 2 people that immediately just being in the same room could have been like, yo, what the fuck?
I mean,
could have put Vinny on blast and either fix the problem or finish the problem. So.
Ooh, what did Violet think of it?
She didn't know.
She didn't?
Nope.
She had all those pieces and she didn't know he was a vampire?
She doesn't care about him. She wasn't gonna do any extra work.
True that.
He was no threat, and she wasn't tapping into Trentamir to do anything else extra, because then she would get the urge to want to take the piece, and she didn't want to deal with that. So she's like, I'll leave Trentamir dormant. This guy's not a threat to me. He doesn't even know what he's doing. Like, come back when you got some bigger pieces.
Hey, you want to go to Lonotov? Good luck with that shit.
No, that was just the ice sheet. Lonotov's the other continent.
I'm sorry.
Lingvi.
Lingvi. Thank you.
Yeah. It's the frozen lake.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of got it when I wasn't in the room, so I couldn't say anything. But when she was like, you know what, it's not worth my time or effort. Like, you've got all these pieces and you don't want to just pop up there. Okay, wow.
Yeah. Should have been a big red flag.
Big piece.
Yeah, and she was right there, too. Just about a week's worth of horse travel.
There
2
was
weeks. 2 weeks.
so much about that was wrong, but we're not going to go into that right now because it'll take all night.
Yeah, I mean, we've touched on it before. It was...
Yeah, a lot.
It's definitely one of those situations where the levels did not equal the lethality of that interaction.
Honestly, I'm actually surprised that we got to her at all.
I skipped 3. I collapsed that. It was a castle and it was only 3 levels high. That should have been your big thing of, we probably didn't get the whole castle.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, we couldn't even sleep on the floor. It hurt us.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I get it. I definitely get it. I know, I'm trying to... We'll see what happens soon, but I really have this spell that I want to use so badly.
That's usually how it goes.
I just need space to do it. It's not like a killing everybody like a parents thing. But Temple of the Gods I want to use so bad. Just to get a shit face safely for one night.
I just want to sleep. That's it.
I just want to get really, really drunk and then sleep for like the rest of the 24 hours. I don't have to concentrate on it at all. And I can make it whatever I want.
Mm-hmm. There's going to be a giant bar.
Yes.
And a dance floor.
And a kitchen.
And
full
some
of
cots.
whatever we want so that I can make a decent meal.
You know what I'm really surprised no one's asked or tried to find, especially when dealing with some of the spell scroll areas or the spell scroll magic shops or anything like that? No one's ever asked for Magnificent Mansion.
I think because none of us are wizards, so we don't know it exists.
No. Nor the entire group has stayed in Oryx's Magnificent Mansion in the past.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. Wouldn't it be nice to have just like a pearl that we can pull on that pops it out every so often?
Yeah, I mean, stuff like that was part of the main reason why you guys got dumped with so much gold. It's like, get either a bunch of things that you guys sort of want, or get something commissioned that you really want. And having a place that you guys can pop out and get a safe long rest is... If I was a player, that's my number one goal. It's like a safe place
really
to
great,
sleep everywhere.
Except when your friend has a 50,000 gold debt for his armor.
Well, yeah, but
paid off yet.
To be fair, like, staying alive long enough to pay your debt is also another thing. Because Magnificent Mansion's
don't
only
borrow
level
money
5.
from your family. That's the bottom line.
Let me see. Magnificent Mansion, I think it's only a 5th level. Nope, it's 7th level.
Yeah, it's really
So,
high up there.
That would be like... Just off the top of my head, not even looking at my notes, probably a 25, 30,000, like, repeatable using scroll.
I mean, yeah, that'd be great. But we can't afford that now. Also, like, man, there's a lot of 7th level spells that we could use constantly.
True. And Nori has a point that she no one could use 7th level spells at the time, but
I could.
well,
We
I
were in
think
the
when you guys had the money to buy it.
in the fortress or in our keep.
I think it was
When we
pre-keep.
had the big chunk of money and we got the keep, and then yeah, I was high enough level that I could use a 7th level spell.
No, I'm talking about before that, when you guys were in the towns that had those spell scrolls.
Oh, yeah. Well, the only time we've ever had like repeatable commissions done was when we were in the keep, about to head down to where we are right now.
Yeah, you had, well, those were more of because you guys had those done for you while you were doing your shit in the keep.
Yeah. But it still would have been nice to get it done and then use it when we could.
True. Yeah, regardless.
Either way.
Either way. I mean, it ended up working out that you guys saved the money so you could buy yourselves passage on the airship.
Yeah, that worked out so well.
But at that point in time, you guys could have just fart clouded and then used the spell scroll from Magnificent Mansion and just slept and fart clouded and slept and fart clouded. And
You wouldn't have let us do that, and we would have been over the ocean.
well, once you've gotten down to the port town, the terrace, you guys could have commissioned a sailing ship to go down to the York Exchange. Which is one of your guys' original goals when you guys interacted with Ladash.
Yeah, which we haven't done in this timeline, thank goodness.
Bear man!
Yes, that's exactly what, like, werebear guy. I was like, please don't, because you mentioned Ladash to Bryn the other day, and I was like, no, we're not going back there.
Actually,
Pauly has this odd feeling it won't work out.
Bryn
He
brought
doesn't
it
know
up
why. Huh?
The Bryn brought it up herself to tease Nori
Yeah.
at the last RFI.
Who was he after?
Ladash?
Oh, he was after
Racha.
Rachas.
Yeah,
so
Bearman was
Rachas
after
isn't with
Rachas.
us right now, so
Yeah.
we might even be able to make friends with him before he tries to kill Rachel.
And to answer a personal question that Bryn sent to me, she asked, why did you expect a drunk Bryn to go flirt with the Minotaur? And I'd be like, I expected, because Nori was constantly leaving the place to go do other things, that Bryn, either a day session or a night drinking session, would have just sort of like meandered around and been like, where's my wife? Like, why is she not with me? And then, like, probably not do anything else besides flirt with the Minotaur, but just to be like, you know what? She gave me a lot more attention when we came with Ladash. Maybe I gotta flirt with someone else to get her to give me attention. And then, like, good attention, not paranoid about this mirror attention. But, so I was like, this could be a possibility. But, instead, she only got drunk in her room. Well, now you know, Bryn. You know, that's secretly in the back of Bryn's head. If I ever need to get attention from Nori, is to go flirt with other women.
I know Pauly's on the fence about that too right now. He's like, well, I have Otis. Otis is at home. But he's at home.
Yeah.
I can only half talk to him. And damn, it's been a long time.
Been a long, lonely road.
It's been since he's been with the group again, and if not before that,
there was probably some going away.
It was that one person in that one town, that one blacksmith.
Yeah.
And that was actually, sadly enough, his first time.
Makes sense.
Because in the other timeline, he and Otis weren't together.
Yeah.
So that was his first time, and that's why he like knocked on the guy's door and then freaked out when he had like a wife and kids. Or a husband and kids.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. I was like, hey, is so and so home? Kind of went down, oh well, he's with our kid. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna slink back to my hotel room and play tag with Ganthrop then.
I'm not gonna be a home wrecker. I'm just gonna go this way now.
Wow, awkward.
To be fair, in that town, everybody swings. So.
Well, he grew up with his parents. Come on.
By the way, there is some repercussions of that town that have yet to be understood.
Jesus.
Yeah.
We can steal that kid, carry it around, and then offer it to Barnabas when he wants to take a parent instead. There you go. Done.
It's not the parents' kid that I'm worried about.
Amric, keep it in your pants.
It's a little late for that, Amric.
Yeah.
But it's
The sex town.
It's been about a year.
The town that I told you guys not to drink the mead, but everybody decided to do it anyway.
Yeah. The town that Bill was left in.
Nobody listens to Pauly. Only because he talks too much.
No. He's got a lot to say. But yeah, it's been about a year since that. So there's not a little tyke running around, but definitely someone somewhere that needs to start paying alimony, or not alimony, child support.
I mean, it wasn't really his fault. But either way, yeah.
Oh, it'd be great if that's where Kaporn's soulmate's at. And that's why he hasn't been able.
That's just wrong.
And that's why he hasn't been able to get lucky with anyone else, because inherently he can't.
I don't think the Kaparan not being able to get lucky is because of fate.
Or
I think it's just because
his rolls
Berchaw is
every time it happens.
And his Kaparan can't read people very well.
But let's just say when you guys finally do go home, there's gonna be a lot of things to deal with. Not just for
Give us a couple weeks off first, and then we'll deal with real life.
I'm sure you guys won't want to go directly home anyway.
Really?
After you guys finish everything in this direction, I'm sure there's going to be a want/need for vacation.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like we can go directly to my home anyway.
I mean, you guys have a communal home now.
Yeah, the keep is great. I'm actually looking forward to going back there. But as far as getting back to, like, personally to Solbrin, it's going to take a long time to get back there.
Oh, Bryn, that reminds me. You can go ahead and add another 5,000 gold to your pocketbook, because it has.
Oh, that's right. They're still using our keep.
It's been a month, so the second payment is now
Woohoo!
indented into your pocketbook.
That'll be nice for later.
Yep. But yeah, so I mean, that's still going on. But I know initially when everything had happened for Pauly, and luckily Devin and Otis were part of the deal of you joining the group back together again. But once you guys had the keep, you had asked if getting Otis and Devin to the keep would be possible.
Right.
Unfortunately, by that time, Laverne, Annabelle, and everybody was back before you could ask them to move.
Right.
Is that still on the table of what you want to... No, you don't want to bring them out now?
No, I don't at all. No, Devin and Otis, one thing. Whole family / like...
No. I'm asking just Devin and Otis. Would you still want to get
Devin,
them out?
Yeah, sure, yeah. I
Okay.
wouldn't mind them, but no, I wouldn't want to pull them away from my parents.
Okay.
Because they're kind of Otis's parents too. And why would I want to do that to him? And Laverne's back. So, like, sister, like, she's kind of his sister too. So no, I wouldn't want to pull him away from family that's very supportive and loving. And if they're anything like they were to me ever, he's in a safer space than he ever could be. Ever.
Gotcha.
Especially with Laverne working with him. I
Obviously
think that
helping.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that my mom, being who she is and how she figures things out and stuff, might even be beneficial to fixing him. And my dad, being who he is too now, being artificer and cleric.
Yeah.
I think he's in a better spot than he ever could be. But again, that was like all of that was like to keep them safe after Kember got destroyed.
Yeah.
And I didn't know until Ilene told me, which I still, either way, it turned out that they were with my dad anyway. So it's all good now. Like he doesn't want them at the keep. He wouldn't mind them at the keep at all, but I think he's more of like, let's get Otis fixed, and then he and I can decide where we want to go.
Right.
Together. And I think that it would have to be, this is so stupid, but it would have to be within like teleporting or like easy distance from my parents and Devin, because Devin is his only real family.
Yeah.
He has left, so I don't know. There's a lot of considerations, so he's not going to take them away from where they are right now.
Okay.
A little sad that I don't have that house anymore, but whatever.
I mean, a little sad we don't have that town anymore. I've got a couple more questions before we end tonight, but if you have any, now would be the time to dish them out. If any on the tip of your mind?
I lost them all.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, I know. I'm really good at that.
Alright, so I'll ask away then. First one is, as far as Annabelle goes, this is a two-part question. What do you think? Because what has happened is still shrouded in mystery. You haven't, you sort of straight up asked and you got a very vague answer. And the stuff through Valek was very vague as well. So there's this very big old question mark on the whole what happened between Ice Queen, Illuminate, and Annabelle. What do you think has happened? And then, is there any scenario in which you go back and embrace your mom? And I mean, not just as a hug, but embrace the actions that she did.
Oh.
So basically, like, what do you think happened, and then what's the best case scenario?
Well, part 2 first.
Okay.
He would have to know what happened first.
Well, yeah, of course.
Part 1, all he's heard is that she took down Illuminate and then she took down... Well, no, she's not heard that, actually. She heard that Illuminate was injured. She heard that her sister is back.
You're not Tamberlay, you're Pauly. You're saying she heard.
Oh, I meant he heard.
Yeah, that was just...
Well, he heard she.
Yeah, that's where the tongue-tying happened, yeah.
Yeah, again, long day.
Yep.
I tried to get drunk at work, it didn't work. So Illuminate went down, Laverne's back, Mom took down Ice Queen. That's all he's heard. He's thought about it a lot, he's speculated. With the little that he's heard, hasn't confirmed or denied anything.
Well, to confirm something, Amric did say to the group that Laverne took down the Ice Queen and Illuminate.
Laverne or Annabelle?
Sorry, Annabelle. Sorry, I
switched
people. But yeah, it's confirmed that Annabelle was the cause of both.
Yes. Yes, how and why are still to be determined. and he's trying to be positive about it, but he's always been like, he loves his mom. He's always loved his mom. She's always been scary. And he didn't know how scary she was until they moved to Kember.
Yeah.
And then he spent 4 months on and off with his mom. Her ignoring him most of the time. After he took over taking care of Otis with Devin.
Yeah, sharing that.
And then she went off and did her own thing and didn't give a shit about him for months. So
That's
it's
Pauly's
not
recollection of events, yes.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. But there's a little spite in there.
Of
Absolutely.
course. Yeah.
We
know.
Yeah, everybody does. But yeah, I mean, I think he would have to have a very long conversation with his dad first. And I think his dad would definitely smooth things over. Because if his dad is okay with everything, and his dad's his hero, like there's nobody more amazing than his dad. If his dad says it's okay, if Vernon says it's okay, then it's okay. And I can start to heal and be okay. And the fact that Laverne is back to help smooth things over as well. But it's still going to take him a long time to deal with that. And eventually, sure, it's never going to be the same. I don't expect it to be. None of them do. But there was a lot of tragic things that happened, one right after the other. And he still blamed himself for Laverne.
Yeah.
And I'm sure in their heart they do too.
Well,
It was all his fault.
We started sort of blending both of the question answers to get it in, so I want to separate them once more. What does Pauly think happened?
From what he's heard.
Yeah, like what he heard. What flashed
for.
to your head?
She found the weapon she was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
She took out Illuminate to get Laverne's soul back. Dumped it in her body. And then why the fuck she would deal with the Ice Queen, he does not know unless she was right there to take care of as well.
I do know, because I believe it was told to Amric, and Amric may have not passed it along correctly, but it was during the battle between the Ice Queen and Illuminate that she interjected herself.
Oh yeah, he didn't know that part.
Yeah.
He just knew that he took down one and then took down the other. Or she took down one and then took down the other. Yeah, he doesn't know. I mean, the Ice Queen is a bad person in his head, so he's glad she took her down, but he doesn't know why she would have any business doing that, except if she was there and threatening.
Yeah.
And she was in the way of my mom getting to Illuminate.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically his what he thinks happened.
Gotcha.
Is that the Ice Queen was in the way, so she took her down, then took Illuminate down to get Laverne's soul back.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just, I mean, it all kind of blends together in the end anyway. But yeah, that's basically what he thinks happened.
Okay. And then my last question for you is the whole Loki Bryn thing, with Floki sort of being in Bryn's space and body, and then
that was super weird.
What does Pauly
totally fucked that up.
What does Pauly think happened, or is going on with all that? I mean, obviously not now because Floki's no longer a situation, but at least
he doesn't know that because he hasn't done true seeing. But I mean, that true seeing thing fucked everything up for everybody, and he's really afraid to use that again. But it's very insightful. as far as like her having him there, he wasn't hurting her. It he wasn't like interjecting himself or anything. I think he was just kind of like weirdly watching over her, but it was just weird. Like, but why are you still here?
Yeah.
Or what she said, you're dead. So you're just like an after image of him.
Well, initially Bryn had said that that makes sense because of her sheath, because it was his, and so possibly a portion of his soul was connected to it, and that's.
So he attached himself to it and haunted that.
But with
still,
with Sigrun saying that Floki is taken care of and no longer a problem, and her sheath still working because she just recently used it, that obviously isn't the case.
Well, as far as the sheath working, it's a magical item, and that's how it works.
Yeah. But if it was,
as far as he's concerned,
yeah, if it was enchanted because of a soul situation, the soul was removed, it would no longer work.
Okay.
So just like if you were to take Acacia or Luke out of their items, they would no longer be magical.
Okay. So she basically condensed the soul and put it into the item instead of letting it hang out and do whatever it fucking wanted.
Possibly.
Yeah, I mean that's all I can think of, honestly. He doesn't know, like Pauly doesn't know a lot about what happened in the mirror or out of the mirror. He just kind of saw an after image of it.
Mm-hmm.
So he wouldn't really make that many assumptions. I mean, he wouldn't mind getting a hold of Floki's skull and asking a few questions, but that's very unethical as far as this group's concerned. I mean,
I think mainly two people. Two people would have.
I'd carry your dad's skull around if you...
You ever want to talk to him? I got you, girl.
Right? I mean, he's only going to know what he knew in life, but hey, that's still more than we know now.
He knew he loved you.
But Bryn, you could ask him all these questions that
everything
you've always wanted to ask him, and he might even be able to answer them.
And if you ever get, reminiscent and lonely, you just gotta look at Pauly's belt.
Right?
And
it looks like all the other skulls, but it's still his. We can decorate it if you want.
We can bedazzle the shit out of it.
I'm not stealthy anyway, so...
All right, so we'll go ahead, unless you have any questions. We'll go ahead and end it there with the last little NPC thing that we usually do. Since really no new NPCs have been introduced since then, there's only one that has a name to it or any sort of recognition, and that would be the king, the giant king. And his name is actually King Hecatone.
Hecatone.
So what does Pauly think of King Hecatone? And what does Pauly think of his magic tonic?
One, the magic tonic is amazing. If a little backlashy.
That one is just because of the size.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was
also a little jealous about that. Like, I wish I could make those, but I'm sure that I don't have the components worth enough to make that. You know what? Absolutely magnanimous. Like, he could have taken us out easy peasy. We would have been goners if he had decided to actually give a shit and take us out. So he's very grateful that the guy has some brains, and he's so racist. Sorry, speciesist. Because he just, I mean, just like everybody else, he thinks giants are big dumb people, but he's never met any giants. He doesn't speak giant.
Yeah.
So, and he's only dealt with he hasn't even dealt with ogres or anything like that, but he just hears stories and thinks that they're big dumb people, and he's actually really happy that they aren't big dumb people, but they're people that worship gods and have their own society, and thank goodness, because otherwise Nori would have been on her own for forever.
Yeah, I mean, funny because cloud giants actually have average of 12 intelligence.
Are these cloud giants that live underground?
It's
Or they're just based off of...
I use them as their base, and I change things
Okay.
around. They're called earth giants, but
I'm fine with that.
yeah. So on average, they have a 12 intelligence.
Which is better than most of the party besides Comparin.
Yeah. So, but ogres are usually considered the more dumb ones, and
Right.
they're considered kin. So that's why they fall in line with that. But at least it's a way for you to be like, maybe you don't. I mean, obviously, before that, plenty of other things to be like, oh, don't trust everything you read or hear. But this is at least a glaring, don't listen. You know, don't make judgment until you interact.
Right. It was also like a very difficult situation because they weren't the first people we interacted with. Or they weren't the first beings that we interacted with the lizards first.
Sure.
That immediately ate us. So we definitely expected a very hostile interaction, and also with like, what the fuck is going on around us?
Yeah, King Agaton's intelligence is 16.
Nice. Shit, I should have asked a lot more questions. Also, one question for you. What the hell about that bug? That giant bug.
The stick
That
bug?
freaked me out. Yeah.
The tree bug that you're like, ooh, this has to be an illusion tree. And then you're like, nope, not an illusion tree. It's a giant stick bug. What the fuck?
Right? There were scales instead of bark. It was just weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a hybrid of insect and reptile.
Wow. That was creepy.
That was just another way for you guys to realize that creatures and proportions here are probably not going to be things that you've dealt with in the past, and don't trust anything you see here.
Also wish I'd climbed on it and ridden it away.
Peace,
you can't
bitches!
scramble up things that fast. I know, right? I'm gonna get across the island without your stupid wind walk, Nori. I'm gonna ride my bug.
Bug rider!
It would have been fun.
Oh, yeah.
It actually would have been. Did the thing fly?
No, it just skitters. At least it didn't fly in front of you. But it quickly moves through the trees, like faster than anything of that size should. Because it's got like 8 legs, so it just like is able to, like a spider, push its way and push itself through trees.
It would have been fun to ride.
Yeah.
Amber would have joined me at least.
Get a whole flock of them and just
Jeez.
Stick bug your way through the forest.
Whole swarm.
No worry, learn to summon these creatures.
Now you're complaining? Now you're complaining that I'm trying to find us alternate modes of transportation, and we're not using you as the taxi, even though you've been complaining about it for weeks.
The Uber driver always complains, but then complains when they don't use the Uber driver. All right.
Right. But yes, riding bugs sounds friggin' awesome.
Yeah, maybe you guys will eventually be able to interact with the giants and the king again. He had you guys all in a line and has lightning bolts. And I was like, oh, this would be so good to pop right now. But I'm like, nope.
Yeah, we were super bunched up.
But I'm like, nope, he's gonna just re-intimidate Amric instead. And that worked out perfectly. So luckily he burned his turn doing the intimidation. And then the next turn he saw. That was only 2 turns worth of battle that you guys had.
I know, it's still kicked our butts.
A surprise attack by 1 lizard, and then 2 turns of battle before things got quieted down. So, actually, no, sorry, it was 3 turns of battle, because 1 turn of them all getting out of their holes.
I know, Nori, I don't complain about being the phone. It just gives me the excuse to be all up in everybody's business without being up in anybody's business.
Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, would
I
you like
like
to
it.
send? Are you sure that's how you want to word it? Are you giving me some liberties with this? Remember, 25 words. Just give me
Right?
the
I
parts
can
that really
also
matter.
like keep the good stuff to myself if I want to,
Mhm.
which you never would, but you could.
Any sort of response, it's like, huh? Yeah,
Sugarcoat
she
it.
said sorry. I'm busy right now. I can't. But secretly, it's like, just tell them that they're adopted and that this has happened and now this has happened. You know what? She said call back later.
I know. I kind of want to see if I can contact Sigrid.
Ooh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of want to. I like. Is it in your head, or is she actually real?
Well, you definitely need to find out what she looks like.
Right. Yeah. I'm all for that. And we can actually buy a minor illusion scroll somewhere.
Yeah. Alrighty then. So with that, we'll go ahead and end it there. Hour 45. We did okay.
Not bad. Actually, yeah.
Ending
not
on
bad.
11:11 as well. Make a wish. Aww. But other than that, we have session on the 16th, 9 o'clock. So far, it's looking like we are going to have a session on the 23rd as well.
Nice.
I think only one person said they might not be able to make it, and that's Kaporin. But he says that if we are going to do it, he might be able to move some stuff around.
Okay.
But other than that, until then, have a safe week. And thanks for hanging out with me, Paul. And
Yeah, thank you.
And Nori and Bryn in chat as well. All right. Have a good night.
Night.